Another recording for New Japan Pro Wrestling.
All
This
right.
is, of course, another episode of Mid Card Mana. We got over
I don't know
there.
where I am, but there's the subscribe.
we never know where we are.
The like
It's 7
button,
a.m. on a Saturday.
button.
You know, we wake up early for this.
Monsters will be up soon.
Man, we're talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling.
If you watched the last
There's
one,
a lot of stuff.
Segue.
Yeah.
I want your opinion because, man, New Japan has been like a roller coaster. You know,
boy has it.
Like right now they're shut down for COVID testing because everybody apparently caught it, even if they're not symptomatic. A lot of people went to the airport to leave, and they had temperature.
Dings on test.
Yeah, so everybody got sent back. So, I mean, gosh, this year alone with New Japan, of course, we saw Kota Ibushi get the belt, and we expected this big, long run. And I don't know exactly what happened there. You might. And then we get your favorite, wherever you are. And I did not expect it would happen, but we got Osprey
I didn't either.
As IWGP champion. First, I want to get your thoughts on
that. Garbage. That's my thought. On a personal level, it made a lot of sense to me because they were just building up this new stable, and what better way to build up this new stable, right? Than have him kind of get hot-shotted. I think they could have had him win the New Japan Cup and lose the title match, or even win the New Japan Cup and then sheet to win the title match. But the fact that he won clean is what bothered me. Because you build up Ibushi. Yeah, you build up Ibushi so much. You have him go through this whole thing where he is now God.
Do you know what happened there? Was it just an injury? What happened?
Well, he'd been working injured for quite some time. I've read an interview not too long ago where he had said that he had screwed up his foot. I don't remember specifically in the foot. It might have been the ankle. I don't recall right now. In his match against Naito for the titles.
Okay.
And then they kind of were trying to get him to rest it and rehab it. And then he had that almost hour-long match with Jay White the next night. And he was on the next tour to defend it. And so I think that the time that he was gone after Sakura Genesis was rehab time as far as his injury went, because he was not on any of the Road to Wrestling Dontaku shows except for one of the last ones. And I know because I checked, because I was like, I'm not watching this if I have to watch Will Ospreay and not see Ibushi. That was where I was at. I was really upset. I understood it. I didn't agree with it. Especially because it was a clean pin. If it was a cheat to win, I feel like it would have definitely hurt less. But also, I felt like it would have made more sense in character. Yeah, have Jeff Cobb come in, have them distract the ref, Jeff Cobb come in, hit him with the Tour of the Islands.
Especially Jeff Cobb right now, because good Lord, he's gotten in such great shape and packed on so much during this pandemic. He is a monster out there.
Hell yeah.
I like you, I have a lot of mixed feelings on this. I love the group. I just don't like Ospreay.
Yeah, no, Ospreay's group is great except for Ospreay. And it, to me, and I don't know if this is intentional or not, I really don't know. I would love to hear what their sort of frame of mind is, but you have, of course, somebody from Hawaii, right? Somebody from Aotearoa, and somebody from Japan who is doing a
New
sort
Zealand
of
for
who
people
is
who
yeah. Oh yeah, Aotearoa is New Zealand for you non-native folk. Anyway,
for our one native follower.
and then you have Great Khan, who is Japanese but doing a sort of Mongol / Manchurian gimmick. And then you have Osprey, and it just really comes across as sort of like, look at this single colonizer from the British Empire cherry picking and taking from all of these other kingdoms,
Colonized
countries.
areas.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah, and that's what it read like to me once once Jeff Cobb came in. I was like, oh, so we're colonizing. That's what's going on here. Okay. And then Aaron Henare, formerly Toa Henare, which I think that the name change was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Changing out the more culturally connected name Toa Henare, right? Mm-hmm. For Aaron, a Western name. Which I think was definitely deliberate for that reason, to fit into the United Empire, but I don't know if they realized the weird sort of connotation that came with it. And that's the thing I have a hard time with the United Empire, because I like it conceptually without Osprey. I think if it was all of these if it was those three guys, and then maybe they got other talent from Australia or somebody from the United States or somebody from, you know, anywhere else, I think I would like it a whole lot more, because it would feel much more like a united empire than a series of colonies. Yeah, so, that's my opinion on that.
We love the group. We don't like Osprey. Osprey's champion. It's where they're going to be going for a good while. And then also we get the news. I know I saw it and I said, this is fate. This is not, I gotta research this. So there I am. I had to look it up, and lo and behold, it's not fake news. Osprey's out. Has vacated the belt. So that tells me it's a serious injury. I don't know exactly what happened.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't want to be cruel here. I'm not particularly fond of Osprey. I don't like his style. The whole Me Too thing that we've talked about so much within the wrestling community, Osprey kind of got off scot-free. Like, I know his wasn't as bad as a lot of other people's, but
he didn't necessarily participate in the actual violating act as much as he went around defending the person that did.
Yes. He didn't do the assaulting, but you know, it's kind of one of those things, guilty by association. And there's a question if he didn't cover things up or try to silence the person, which is bad in itself. He denies it. Whatever. It's sort of, I don't believe in karma, but like, to me, like karma, to get way off topic here, you do bad shit, it's eventually going to just catch up with you because you're doing bad shit. Like,
look at Dynamite Kid.
Right.
Look at Lex Luger.
Like if you're constantly robbing banks, karma when you get caught. It's just probability, you know. I think that's what kind of happened here. You know, statistically, things are going to catch up with you. Now, maybe it's not because of all the bad things that he's done, but his wrestling style in and of itself is caught up to me. It's a high impact style, you know, and I think, you know, maybe he was trying to get away from this style of wrestling and becoming a heavyweight, but you know, it's caught up to him and he's now injured. I don't want to say that I'm grateful that this happened. I am pleasantly surprised and Ospreay doesn't have the title anymore. The group doesn't have a de facto leader anymore. And I am intrigued to see where things go in New Japan from here. I mean, it sucks because obviously the bookers wasn't expecting this, and I think they kind of thought that they were on a path to kind of get back up to par to where they were years and years ago before suddenly people were like, we're leaving, somebody gets injured, and they're having to like really shuffle the cards around. And of course, with Kota Ibushi, he gets injured too, so they had to shuffle. Let's get back on track. Let's strap Ospreay. Now he's injured. Where do you go from here? Do you keep pushing United, or do you bring somebody else into the group to make it whole again? I would love to see Samoa Joe in the group. If you want to keep going with the colonizer route, you can always bring in Daniel Bryan. I don't think we touched on before, but his contract ran out. Nobody knows where he's going. But he's expressed interest in wrestling all over. I mean, New Japan strapping Daniel Bryan as champion and him wrestling on a limited basis has to be appealing.
I think that would be great. I think it's definitely probably a bucket list thing for Daniel Bryan to hold an IWGP title, because I don't believe he has. Yeah, I think that would be super dope. But also, and this is what I've wanted for a very, very long time, since like the inception of the United Empire, and it's introducing Jeff Cobb into them. Let Cobb.
We go with Cobb?
Yeah, Cobb is the one. Okay, Cobb, my defense of Jeff Cobb here is he's always been the strongest member of United Empire as far as his ability to win matches for them for a really long time. He was the one that didn't take any pins.
Right.
If the match was lost, it was lost by one of the other members. It was lost by either Ospreay or by Okan. I think that should mean something. And so I think that, yeah, maybe they'll start off with being like, oh yeah, we'll wait for Ospreay to come back, wait for the leader. But I think, and this is more of a slow burn, I think somewhere along the line, they're going to realize that they're achieving more success as a group without him.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
I think it'd be interesting. I would not mind seeing them add a member. Like you said, especially if it's, another national sort of aspect.
I think it would be very cool.
I think Jeff Cobb would work. I think Hanare would even work. I've really enjoyed his transformation.
Hell yeah. Welcome to the party, my dude. I've always loved Toa Hanare, our Maori brother, man.
Me too. So I'm really, I was excited to see him kind of step away from just being the gimmick in the match, and he started becoming like this other character, a little bit more serious and whatnot. Then we saw him team with Tanahashi for a little bit, and it's like, okay, they're starting to groom him for a push. And then this just kind of came out of left field, like, okay, we're going to turn him heel. He still had like this psycho gimmick.
Really?
I think he's an amazing worker.
You feel like his transition to going over to United Empire came out of left field?
I do, kind of.
Because I could see it.
Yeah.
Especially when they said that they're going to add a new member. I'm just like, it's Toa.
I mean, when they
it's
said
got
they
to be
Toa,
Toa.
He was like top of the list. But I think when, they were, if you didn't have United Empire, I could not see him going.
Okay, fair. I couldn't see him going. Well, no, actually, I could kind of see him going heel, because you look at the rest of his contemporaries, right, in his dojo class, and I love him. I do. I love Toa, but he always comes across as like the one that was left behind.
Mm-hmm. I expected him to join Bullet Club more than anything. So for me, this was kind of out. But I would love to see him push him as the leader, bring somebody else in. We're not gonna bring in like Samoa Joe. Still got long
All right,
shot.
G1 this year, Samoa Joe. Let's go. You have till October because they're gonna do the G1 late since the Olympics.
Can you imagine? I mean, can you imagine if Joe come in, just walks in?
The roof would blow off the place.
What are you going to do? The champion's going to be the winner of G1 this year? I mean,
that's what I've heard. That could be a possibility
that would be
as
amazing.
A way to make the match a little bit more interesting. Because
would you do a finale of Joe versus Naito, or would you do something like finale of Joe versus Hanari lay down?
And then there's your new leader of United Empire.
New leader, they all come out, salute to Joe.
I'd be fine with that. Truly, I would love it. I think that you would have, as far as the people that would be in the finals this year, I think Cobb is a really big possibility with how they pushed him, especially his tango with Ibushi, where he was the one that after post-match he was throwing Ibushi all over the ring.
Imagine Joe versus Cobb. You built up, and Cobb laying down for Samoa Joe. People would be upset.
I would love the hell out of it, but as you know, Samoa Joe has wrestled at least one of our guys over here in Hawaii. He's wrestled Kaimana, so we're into
there's
it.
A lot of potential there.
Hawaii approves.
Right. I think there's hardly any chance that it would happen, but it would be a dream come true for me. I would love to see that. It'd be a hell of a...
Yeah, I imagine, as much as I would love Joe to be in the G1, I imagine that if the G1 is for a championship this year, he comes out post-match and is the first challenger.
I'd be okay with that too.
I think that would be the bigger pop, and then maybe as a singles match you have one-on-one lay down for Samoa Joe. If Jeff Cobb wins the G1, which I should be clear, if Jeff Cobb wins the G1, I'd be okay with that.
If you're thinking in company wise, and you're not going to Jeff Cobb or whoever within the group, who do you go with? If you're New Japan, I mean, do you restrap Naito? Do you fall back somewhere else? Jay White, Evil, Kenta? Are you going to strap somebody new, or are you going to put it on somebody that's had it?
Pull the trigger on Sonata.
Pull the trigger on... God, I wish. Or even the Last Dragon.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of time, honestly, before Shingo gets it.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure what the conditions will be of Shingo getting it. Maybe he wins the G1 this year.
Yeah.
That was something I thought of before. The two people that I thought, man, maybe they might win the G1 this year, especially after Shingo lost New Japan Cup.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, I've been saying that this year it's not the New Japan Cup, but I think it might be the J1.
Yeah. I mean, I think Jay White is a safe bet if you're going to put it on a placement holder, because I mean, they have done that. They really did that with Jay White before they strapped him, because Kenny left. I mean, basically. And it worked. I think Jay White is one of those guys who it doesn't matter if it's a placement holder or not, he's going to make it his own.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's not like you put the belt on the Miz just to have it on somebody, transfer to somebody else. I mean, Jay White, he's proven himself, and I think he'll go down as one of the greatest IWGP champions of all time, just because he's got such a big future ahead of himself. If he's going to make New Japan his home for the foreseeable future, this guy, he's going to have multiple championship runs. So, I mean, it's a safe bet. Put it on Jay White until you figure things out. Is waiting for Kota Ibushi to come back to drop it to him. Waiting for Osprey to come back. Waiting for my monster to get up and take it, which could be any moment. I hear him in the background. I mean, these are total possibilities. I think Jay White's a good choice. I think you could go back and put it back on Naito, and I think people would be okay with that too. Sonata and Shingo, I would be totally happy with either of those, especially Sonata. I think it's his time. I think if you wait much longer, you're going to get into a situation like Hiroki Goto.
I was going to say the same thing. I was going to be like, it's gonna be a Goto situation, which is what you've been saying for literal years now.
You could put it on Goto. I mean, how out of left field would it be to strap Goto now?
I'd pop huge, honestly. I would be very, very happy for him. I think that his feud with Kenta a couple years ago really sort of revitalized him as a single star.
Yeah.
And I guess switching sort of gears there.
Good morning. Hi.
So switching some gears. Hi.
Loose cannons on TV.
It's like, I don't know who this nobody is. That's fair. Nobody knows who I am. But my question for you is, if we're looking at people that are going to be future title holders, who do you think is going to be the one to take that strap off of Mox? He had that great off of Moxley, the United States. We had that great match with Nagata. I cried from bell to bell. I spent the whole time crying. They had the great split screen of both of them. Good. They had Narita coming in with Nagata, which I loved. Big fan of that. Loved all of that. It just made me genuinely happy because I love Papa Nagata. And he was selling the signed versions of his shirts, and I got to see if they have any non-signed versions of the one where there's his face in the inside of it. Good stuff.
I think if you're New Japan and you're really planning on making a presence in the U.S., having the U.S. title on U.S. wrestling shows like AEW and on one of the top wrestlers in the United States, Jon Moxley, is kind of the way to go until you got that staple of whatever you're going to do in the United States, whether that's a U.S. New Japan promotion or what. I don't know what their plan is to get into the U.S. Television market. I do know that they've had some offers that Japanese networks have had a major influence on them not getting and signing, because I mean that's their bread and butter, right?
Yeah.
So if they don't agree to it, then it kind of comes off the table. So I think for now, I don't see him dropping it. I think they're going.
You think he rides off into the sunset of his paternity leave still champion?
I do. I think what we'll see is that he won't be on AEW TV, but we may see a New Japan match here and there. I think that's what we'll get, because I mean that's what we have been getting.
Yeah.
You know, it hasn't been like every show he's been, defending the U.S. title on. So, I think we'll get one off here and there until New Japan either realizes they don't get a TV staple in the United States, or they do get one. And at either rate, when that happens, that realization comes to fruit, that's when we see Moxley drop it. Who? I don't know. I mean, that's a title I think you could make a star out of. Like, if you had him drop it to Reshu's son, that's kind of got a little built in there. It's stardom, that was, it's Moxley's protege and whatnot. You could revisit that. Obviously, that kid's going to be a star.
Have you seen recent pictures of Shota?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
like totally unrecognizable for a moment. I was like, who is that? And I'm like, that's Shota. Yeah, I'm really impressed. But he comes from a great class of young lions. So right. I am not surprised.
Who else? I mean, you could put it on Hanare. You could put it, I mean, it really just depends on where they're going. I think with the US product. Mm-hmm. If US product comes out, or if they realize, okay, we got to scrap this and bring the belt back to Japan. I think it's that those two different scenarios really depends. Those two different scenarios makes or breaks what happens on the belt.
I have an opinion question for you. Would you have it be somebody that they bring over from Japan, or would you have it be somebody who is already in the LA dojo?
Who else in the LA dojo right
now? Clark Connors just graduated. Carl Fredericks also graduated a bit back. They have their sort of mainstay talent seemingly been people like Chris Dickinson, Brody King, Leo Rush. And then they also have the New Japan Strong title, which is held by Filthy Tom Lawler. Tom Lawler, interestingly, has been building up his team Filthy across multiple promotions, which I think is really cool. He has his own little branch in New Japan with like JR Kratos, and then you have him in MLW with Violence is Forever and a couple other people. So I think it's really cool that there's kind of that bridge.
Yeah, I think it really depends. Dropped your car. If if you have a U.S. promotion, what do you do with it? Do you hire a bunch more U.S. workers? Do you use a lot of Japan workers? Are you hoping to hit here? Because there's a lot of indie talent out there that they could hire that they could go with. Personally, I think I would probably have an up-and-coming star that I'm going to make. So there's a couple of the LA dojo I think would work. Carl Fredericks, but I don't know. I think I would go with somebody that New Japan fans would recognize at the same time that your more broader American audience could get behind. So I don't know. I would probably go with somebody from New Japan. I probably would. Yeah. I mean, you even got to consider Tama Tonga, I think.
I mean, I've been yelling at Tama Tonga for those Tama Tonga happy hours, the Tama's Island stuff that I do. I've been yelling at him, and a whole bunch of people have been yelling at him and been like, go after that US strap. Go after it. Get that title. Get that title.
He's a guy, but he can do the mic work, you know. And I think if you're doing a U.S. brand show, you have to consider that.
I would love for him to be a double champ in that way, be tag champ and US champ.
Absolutely.
I mean, be dope. Another person that I would like to see, actually, you brought up the concept of one being a young lion with Shota. I think I would love for Carl Fredericks to get one. He was definitely a very popular young lion. You saw how hard he worked. He was the first graduate of his little dojo class, the LA dojo class. And I feel like he didn't have quite as many notable wins as someone like Clark Connors did, or even Alice Coughlin.
Right.
Or even Renarita. Renarita, as still a young lion, got a win against somebody established like Chris Dickinson. So I thought that was sort of a feather in his cap in a way that I don't think Carl Fredericks has gotten. He's had accolades and stuff. He's won the Young Lions Cup, but that was before people realized that was a significant accomplishment, I feel. And so I think him being the person to take it off of Mox would be cool. He's shown that he has the ability to be a star, and that would make him even more of a star. So that would be a cool choice Moxley to me.
For anybody is going to be huge.
Yeah.
Really. So yeah. Who else? I'm not sure. It just occurred to me though, bringing up the LA Dojo would be a great way for them to bring in Samoa Joe, because he's from LA Dojo, obviously. A lot of work there. So,
no, I also thought about that, and I thought that would be cool.
Be a hell of a swerve.
And it would be nice because Joe would be able to defend that title a little bit more often. I think that's the issue I have, is that you have this cool title. I like the U.S. title. I feel like I have a kinship to it because it was a title that was created while I was live watching New Japan. So I know the entire lineage of it. I know all of the battles that people have had for it. I've seen every single one, because there haven't really been that many title defenses for it. And I just would enjoy watching more title defenses, watching the story of that belt grow. Similar to how Jay White went after the never openweight championship, because he was like, it's the only heavyweight title I haven't held, so I'm going to take it from Tanahashi, and he did. I think that someone like Yuji Nagata, someone like Goto, someone who's on that sort of New Japan dad / New Japan uncle kind of point in their career, I think it would be a great sort of, not to use the terminology feather and cap again, but another great moment and be like, hey, I've also held this title at a later stage in my career. I showed that I could still go, which is why I wanted Nagata to hold it so bad. Because they made a big deal about the fact that Nagata took the never from Shibata in 2016, and the prime of Shibata's career. So it felt like it could be believable for it to happen. So
yeah, I think too, if they do get a U.S. promotion going, the U.S. title as the main belt, you could really build up some more prestige behind it. So, and you could bring in anybody, from Japan to challenge for it. I think that would be the beauty of it. You could have your American roster, with guys like Moxley and the LA Dojo, and especially more, I think, fluent English speakers, like Kenta, Tama, whoever else that does work Japan, who has a better grasp on the English language. Of course, having them on the promotion would make a lot more sense, but you could have anybody coming over to challenge for it. it's like it would be like an endless pool of talent that you could pull from. Where most promotions don't have it. You don't have somebody that, in the promotion that you want to strap, you could always bring in whoever, Goto, Suzuki, whoever. Give somebody a
Speaking
rub.
of, and I don't mean to cut you off, except just a little bit, because I want to make sure I get this in before we get off on another tangent. Speaking of bringing somebody in, Kojima is going to Impact.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they're going to do with that.
Red Club, man.
Red Club for life.
But yeah, I think that's something that's really cool, has a lot of potential.
And
I don't know what his role is going to be yet, but I do think it's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
Kojima's shown he can still go.
He can. He is getting old, though.
He is. I mean, he's part of that same sort of class of New Japan dads, Nagata, Suzuki, Kojima, Tenzan, Nakanishi, who recently retired.
In that class. Like,
I just mean like age-wise, close,
I guess.
But they definitely not that same sort of New Japan class. Because I believe the four they had as their like modern four pillars were Tenzan, Kojima, Nakanishi, and Nagata. I believe. I could be wrong.
I call them the failed generation.
I know you do, and it hurts my feelings.
Nobody ever reached the height of Muto, Chono,
Hashimoto,
generation. Moto, yeah. Nobody reached that big ace level. Like afterwards, we got Tanahashi, Shinsuke, but I did enjoy me some Kojima, and Shinsuke.
Yeah.
I think he's retired now, but Shinsuke Sasaki.
Well, I think he's at least held more gold than his other contemporaries. But I mean, hey, Nagata wrestled in North Korea. You can't take that away.
I think Nagata's thing was he was being groomed to be that next big guy, and then he lost that legit MMA match. And of course, that was the Inoki generation. Inoki just basically stripped him of the belt. He was champion at the time. He took a long time to recover from that.
We love Blue Justice. We love him.
The wheel.
He too is sad about it.
Yeah.
Just knows in his tiny little heart.
Erasing. I gotta hella.
You gotta train the next IWGP World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah. So, I guess that's the New Japan stuff. Who's going to be it next? If you had to pick somebody right now, who you gonna pick?
That's currently in New Japan?
Yep. Next New Japan champion, IWGP champion. Who's it going to be?
Jeff Cobb.
Jeff Cobb, that's your choice. All right.
That's my choice. If I can't look back and I have to look forward, Jeff Cobb is my choice.
Black coal of the soul. Of course, I want it to be Samoa Joe. I think it's going to be Jay White.
I think Jay White holds that never title for a little bit longer. I do. Naito, I think, is a little bit more likely.
With Naito.
But Jay White so relishes having taken that never title from Tanahashi that I think he's going to want to hold on to it for a bit and taunt him with it.
I'm going to say Naito, but I sure would love it to be Sonata.
Sonata would be great. My pipe dream would be either Sonata or Hiromu, because I love LIJ, but I think if I'm thinking what could possibly happen, it's Jeff Cobb for me. I think that's the most likely if we're not backtracking and giving it to somebody that has already held it.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
Yeah, we'll see.
We're calling it right there. Let's see what happens.
Watch us both be wrong, you know.
Going to be Goto.
Hey, we will both happily be wrong for it to be Goto.
I would happily be wrong for Goto. Yeah.
All right, this is mid-card mono. Loose Cannon and Sam Carroll of the Wrestling Connoisseur signing off. Hopefully we'll be getting back on track. I know I've said this for the last like 2 months now, but maybe I mean it this time. Who knows? Maybe. We'll see. Yeah.
All right.